live.
Check.
Mic is hot. Cameras on.
Let's do it.
Red lights on. Hoodies on. Ron got the glasses on.
Glasses on.
Yeah.
They got the all black hat.
All black
no brands,
season.
You know what I'm
No
saying?
brands except for the swoosh. That's all you gotta know.
Look like a hooper today, bro.
Hey man.
I feel like you just got back from the court.
Yeah, because I'm about to shoot up this mic.
Did you ever play basketball?
Yeah.
What, you just play basketball? Or?
I played in high school and then I played in college.
You ain't playing college.
Hold on.
You played Johnson & Wales? Bruh, Lee talking about he's a collegiate basketball
I
player.
am. This is gonna mess up. Like, hold on, you may not can see on the screen, but there it is right there. Johnson or J. Wu Wildcats right there, first win for the school history.
What?
What that say right there? Benny Williams, number 40.
Bro,
Hey.
were you nice?
I mean, you know what I'm saying.
A little bit?
You know what I'm saying?
What position?
4 and 5.
Oh, wow.
forward and center.
Okay.
Oh, and by the way, if you're not, so we just started talking, but
Yeah.
this is Poetically Correct, Poetically correct. This is Poetically Poeticlee.
And this is Rome DiCarlo,
Yeah, like you already know.
like you already know.
But I played basketball.
That's
My
what's
first
up.
2 years.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Dang, that's dope,
I
man.
stopped though.
Why?
I mean, just you got to realize like what your priorities are and where you want to go. Like then you can't. Then that's when like our business really started rolling. And so
okay.
we're like, okay, you gotta set priorities. Like this is where the bag at. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Were they paying for your school or not?
Nah.
Oh, okay, yeah. They can. That's for the birds. Then.
No.
Right, they can keep it.
Nah, I mean, but that's what Johnson Wells. They don't really. They do other things, but they're not gonna
Okay.
pay for school.
I mean, I'm sure you got a lot of girls off being on the team, though. You know what I'm saying?
I was in a relationship.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I don't. You know, I was.
You wasn't about that.
Now you know what? Real talk though. Okay, so. I was in a relationship 2 years, my junior year, my sophomore year and junior year.
Okay.
And then like freshman year hoop, I mean, it comes, some things come with the territory, but you just gotta play it cool.
That's true. You know,
saying
you
a
can't-
lot and saying a little.
Bruh, spoken like a true Mac OG.
No.
I done seen. I'm not even gonna talk about it on. I'm not
Yeah.
gonna talk about it on camera. You
I don't know what
I'm
you've seen. You've
I'm
seen
just
nothing.
saying,
You've
Lee got the.
seen
You know what I'm
nothing.
saying? Lee
You've
is the
seen-
plug.
Plug for what?
Lee is the plug. I'm
I
saying.
don't charge anything. What you saying?
I'm just a guy.
You just a guy.
I'm just a poet.
All right, but this weekend. No, not this week. All right, we gotta get this quick plug in. Speaking of plugs,
Okay.
the forum CLT.
Yes.
Talk
Forum
about it. Speak
CLT.
on it.
CLT stands for Create, Learn, Thrive. It's an event that we're hosting in the city for artists to provide a platform for everybody that's trying to glow up and be great and just do what they do, man, because the city's kind of squeezing us a little bit. They're trying to force us into like the, you know what I'm saying, the abyss. But we wanted to create an event and a space where we can shine and celebrate each other, you know what I'm saying? So that's what it's about. We got different genres of art. Every show is going to have different genres combined together. So we're going to have a singer, a rapper, a poet, and a dancer. In the first instance, we're going to have a dance group. We're also going to have a poetry cipher. In future months, it might be a MC cipher, different types of dance ciphers. We're trying to combine different art styles all in one space because a lot of times you go to an open mic and it's just for poetry, or you go to an R&B event, or you go to like a hip hop show, or all the dancers hang out at certain places, but we don't get everybody in the same room. So we're trying to bring that back, you know what I mean, and try to do that vibe. As well as having local businesses as vendors and stuff like that, because that's also a part of the forum. The forum is a marketplace of ideas and merchandise. So yeah.
That's fresh right there. Where do you think? I think that it's dope seeing the combination of dance and like that mixed into the scene because I feel that's art right there. Dance and then poetry, hip hop, whatever it may be. Like when dancing and music comes together and like words come together, I feel like that's dope right there.
Absolutely. And painting too. I forgot we're
Yes.
going to have painting.
You're gonna have painting there too?
Yeah.
Really? How many artists painting?
Just one painter.
Okay,
Just
cool.
one painter. So, and there might be another vendor who's a painter, but she's not going to be live. We got one person live painting. Shout out to
A
Kendra.
word?
Yeah.
That's tough.
It's going to be lit, bro.
Yeah.
Poetic Lee going to be there. He's going to be in the poetry cipher.
The cipher, yeah, that's gonna
Stay
be fresh
tuned,
right
man.
there.
We'll be back to talk about how that goes.
Yeah, we definitely gotta talk about it. We definitely gonna talk about the cipher and how that goes.
But how do you feel about, I guess, being in the scene for some years, for a couple of years now, or what have you? How do you feel about, what you see in the city and how things are moving? Where do you see things going?
So, okay, for those who don't know, we're in Charlotte, North Carolina, and well, I mean, it's interesting because everything always fluctuates, everything always changes.
True.
Nothing stays the same for 6 months.
True.
Something is a new wave, a new
Right.
leader, and nothing wrong with a new leader, but it's
Mhm.
always someone else that's really thriving on the scene. It's always somebody that's really pushing something, putting on to something. There's always a new event. There's always a new venue. It's always something new, right?
Yeah.
So like when I first really started catching the wave and seeing on the poetry scene down here, it was Wine Up.
Yeah.
I think with JC and that was on Thursdays.
Yeah.
That was the spot that was fresh, that was popping. Then it was Abstracts on Word of Mouth.
Right.
On what was that, Wednesdays?
Yep. Wednesdays.
It was on Wednesdays, right?
Yep.
And then even though I haven't been to him, but you have Poet Named Superman doing his events on Wednesdays. Then you have Flo Bar on Wednesdays. Then you have I'm missing somebody else. Somebody else was on another day.
I know Ja was doing Tuesdays.
Ja doing Tuesdays. Somebody else is doing something on Mondays though. They do something on Mondays.
The Evening Muse is on Mondays.
Is that the Evening Muse? But in a sense, it's always something new. It's always something new and thriving. Oh, they were going to do something new on Wednesdays at the Canvas Gallery.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It happened for like 3 weeks.
Yeah, I remember that.
You
I was there for that. Shout out
so
to
that happened
Canvas.
for like 3 weeks. So, it's always the thing. I think this is just anything in art, anything in business, all about longevity and consistency, right? Like we doing this show, doing this podcast, it's about us just being consistency. Well, a few people gonna listen at the beginning, and then the more consistent we get, people gonna be like, okay, I see you. That's the same thing with like the poetry scene. People say, oh, we don't really have that many people coming out. Well, it's just people like, okay, I see what you have going on. Either they can't make it the first couple times, but once you're so consistent with it, okay. Then once you build a buzz with it, people gonna really jump out into it. That's why I'm excited about what you got going on with you and Lauren with the forum, because that's so much content, so much activity, so it's going on. There's a lot going on. People can't help but like, oh man, that's dope. That's gonna be the spot. Like you were talking about last time, you have Bus Boys and Poets in DC.
Yeah.
People know that's the spot when you go
Right.
there.
Yeah.
What's the place in Atlanta?
I know. Talk about Apache Cafe.
Apache Cafe.
Yeah.
People know that's the spot in Atlanta. Like creating that spot.
That
people,
spot. You know what I mean? And
So-
it's got to be like prime time action. Like it's got to be like Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Like it's hard to have a spot, and it's like Tuesday. It's like, damn, I gotta go to work. The week just started. Like it's easier when it's like, this is the place to be. This is where to turn up the party, but for something that has substance like poetry.
Yeah, I think poetry is like, first off, can we get this off real quick?
Yeah.
Spoken word poetry is an art, a craft. How can I put it? It's like if you go see like musical performers, right?
Okay.
So it's not I don't know. I feel some type of way about poetry when people say poetry readings.
Yeah, me too. I don't like it.
Golly, man, you want to piss me off? Ask me when my next poetry reading is. You want to piss me off? No, man, not poetry reading. It's really like it's art.
Yeah.
It's crafts, painting with words.
Yeah.
It's not, we just gonna sit here and all be in silence and come together. No, you can turn up, you can laugh, you can talk, you can be infuriated. You can go through all these different emotions. Like it's really like a performance.
Yeah, absolutely.
So.
And that's why I've never been to a poetry reading and enjoyed it. It's always just felt really.
I don't think I've ever been to a poetry reading since kindergarten.
Really? I went to one in college, and that was the last one.
I don't even know what a poetry reading is.
Yeah, not that. I mean, shout out to everybody that does that. If that's what you do. I'm not trying to hate. I was just saying, like, in terms of what drew me into, I guess, poetry is more. Originally, it's like hip hop and listening to lyricism and the understanding that a lot of the stuff that they're doing, the metaphors, the poetic devices, all the elements that create good lyrics are also part of poetry. And then seeing spoken word poets do that in that same aggressive, like hip hop influence kind of, presentation. That's what drew me to it. So poetry readings wasn't my introduction to, I love poetry. You know what I mean?
When did you hold on? Who was the first poet that you ever like caught wind of?
The first poet?
Yeah, poet.
Like spoken word artists or
Spoken word artist or just poet? Like a
just poet? I mean, well, in school, of course, you know, you hear about like Langston Hughes, and,
Exactly.
you know, all the Shakespeare stuff and
yeah,
Emily Dickinson and those kind of people.
yeah.
I guess more contemporary. Probably my first exposure was like Def Poetry Jam. Like probably most people my age growing up. If you didn't see it in school or like locally, I saw it on TV on HBO. Def Poetry Jam. I was like, yo, this is dope. You know what I mean? Obviously, my man on what's Kanye's song "Never Let Me Down" has one of the most legendary.
That is,
you know
like,
what I'm
the most legendary performance. Because
Right.
I don't know if that was before. Was that before the song came out, or like right during that time period?
Dang, I don't know. I feel like it was right during that time period. Man. Yeah.
And it was like, whoa.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
that, man, I want that to come back around.
Yeah.
But I guess sometimes you gotta just do like that. I want to do something like that.
Yeah. But yeah, nobody's really checking for that. Like in terms of the musically stuff, like people aren't putting like spoken word artists in the middle of their songs like that. Like that was different then. Like you don't see it even.
Yeah, you're right.
You know what I mean? Like Kendrick, if he does it, he'll do it himself.
That's true.
Like he can do it himself. But like other than that, you don't really see too much of that crossover. Wale used to do it a lot too.
Wale was considered like that poet in hip hop.
Yeah, he was like the hip hop like poetry guy.
Yeah,
like I feel like he looks like someone who went to some black college and went to poetry shows and stuff like that.
Definitely
and got popping with rap.
Yeah, he was that guy. And you know, who else was considered that way? Common.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Common. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. Most Def in a sense.
Yeah. That whole era, that whole neo soul, I feel like they did a lot of that crossover kind of stuff. It don't happen as much now.
And back when bars.
Yeah.
Now, okay. I don't want to sound like but I mean, I think like, we were talking about this before.
Yeah.
You know how rap and hip hop, and we're gonna talk about rap and hip hop because that's where poetry stems from. You know what I'm saying? Not poetry stems from, but hip hop stems from poetry.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it correlates together. So when we talk about music in general, I have to just say that because people are like, oh, here we go talking about hip hop. No, but we gotta talk about it, right? Like, and I feel like it's at a great moment today. But man, like, I was listening to KRS-One the other day.
Okay.
And I was like, just feeling that vibe.
Yeah.
Feeling that feeling of. So what's that feeling I'm feeling? That feeling is like pride. Like, this is us. You know what I'm saying? This is what I'm about. I'm mature about it. I'm serious about it. Let's go get it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And then that's how other rappers about that, man. Whether they talking about the gang life or street life, I'm serious about it, and I'm here to take it. Mine. It's a different confidence.
Yeah.
And I'm not to say today doesn't have that same confidence. Well, it doesn't have the same confidence. There's nothing wrong with today, but that vibe, that here, I'm here to take whatever. I'm here either you had somebody tell I'm here to take your jewelry, or I'm here to take what you got, or I'm here to just to take back the power.
Yeah.
You know, it's just a sense of ownership.
Dang, I never thought about it like that. That's heavy.
Yeah.
You feel like there's not a lot of sense of ownership in the music.
Ownership of what?
Right.
Ownership of partying? Ownership of just ownership of is, you know what the difference is?
What?
It's ownership of me, myself, and I. Ownership of this is what I'm going through. Now you got some youngins that are really that have a message, a deeper message into it, and deeper message far as these are my feelings, my thoughts. I think it's the good thing about today is a lot of artists don't have a problem with being vulnerable. Back then, you couldn't show your cards.
Yeah.
You know, you couldn't show that I was weak or in this moment, or you had to show like, hey, I'm tough, I'm strong, you're not about to tear me up.
Yeah.
But now you got artists being more talking about depression, which I think is good because we got to talk about that because you had a lot of people back then going through depression, mental health. So that's when the drugs came into play. That's when, you thought you could buy it. That's when we thought we could as artists, you can make all this money and then buy all this stuff and be happy when that really wasn't the case. So now it's good to see artists being more vulnerable, but like I said, what's the ownership of? Ownership of we. Back then was the ownership of we, like, here, this is my gang, this is my people, we coming to do this, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's an ownership of power, power of self. I don't know if we have power of self. I think that goes around the world.
Dang, bro. You got me over here thinking, man.
I mean, but you see what I'm saying? I guess because when we just talking about this, as artists, sometimes, I don't know, power of self. So I think about that. What does that mean? Power of self to me means of being not just for control within, but being able to take ownership and be ready to, I guess, be ready. Power of self is just be ready to just let go of everything else around you and be able to hold on and say, okay, I got this myself.
Mm-hmm.
I got this. Or not even just in myself, but being able to just be strong within.
Yeah, I do say like a lot of the new artists and stuff like that. I don't get that vibe that they're quote unquote strong within or quote unquote like their own boss or not even their own boss, but like it feels like there's somebody that's behind them like pulling the strings. Whereas with other artists, you necessarily didn't feel like that way. Even if it was the case though, but you're talking about like KRS-One. KRS-One is somebody I think of as
being a rebel.
I'm me. You know what I mean?
Being a rebel. That's it. Power of self, being a rebel. And I say that power of self and being a rebel goes hand in hand because that means you are doing what you want to do because you know what you're doing. You want to do not for what you want to do, but what you feel can help others too.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like you have even Public Enemy, you know what I'm saying? Even with the remnants of listen to old Nas, like on Nas, it's a sense of power of self because he's talking about the empowerment. Now, he got, you know, all artists eventually get called into like the label dealings or whatnot. Listen to old Rough Riders, like the Locks. It was a different type of, and like I said, whether the message was about how they gonna, you know, beat you up or whatever, it's a different power of self as far as ownership. Yeah. And I don't know. I don't know how we got onto this topic, but
I don't know how we got here either, but I just want to let me ask you this because you were talking about you know, people doing stuff in the city before, and you know a lot about marketing and stuff like that. Like, how do you? Because it seems like if you do the same, because we're talking about consistency and longevity. Like, so you do the same, you're doing the same show. Like, how do you get new people involved? How do you come up with creative ways to reach out to people? Because I know that's something that you do with this show and with other stuff.
Creative ways to get out and to reach new people.
Because otherwise you have like same 20, 30 people coming to your shows and it's like.
Now, are you talking about as the artist themselves or are you talking about like the venue?
If you're an artist putting together, like say if you got a fan base, so whatever you do, you're doing shows, those are the people that show up. How do you expand that? Or how do you reach new people? How do you come up with new ideas to?
Perfect question. All right, so as an artist, how I feel is I am growing myself. I feel like the world is so digital right now, right? The world is digital. That means while you may be able to go out and put out 100 flyers, you can take that same time, go on Instagram, go on Facebook, and you can DM 100 people or however you want. DM, put out a flyer on Instagram, put out a flyer on Facebook, and let that connect impressions or hashtag 2,000 people. You know what I'm saying? 2,000 impressions. So people ask, what's an impression? That's people actually looking at what's going on. That's it hit this many people. You can pay $5, $5, $10 on people. Thing I always say about advertising is half that money is going to be seen. The other half is not going to be seen. Yeah. What's that mean? That means that somebody's going to scroll through it. Somebody's going to stop and see what it is. That's just what it is. You have a bill, you make a billboard. Some people gonna look and see what's on the billboard. Some people gonna keep driving. But it's just about being seen. So $5, $10, that's your lunch money. You really trying to make a hustle? I feel like take that money, put it in Instagram, put it in Facebook. I say those two places because it's all about visuals, right? Visually, Instagram is the top on when it comes to visuals. Facebook is right there in the top when it comes to visuals. As far as wordplay and conversation, everybody knows Twitter. But if you visual and because we're so visual as a society, videos are now the thing. Not just videos, but quick videos with no sound. Why no sound? Because typically we're out places, right? Yeah. So you're in the office. It doesn't, just it's all about the image, all about the creativity, how you're putting things together. So it doesn't have to you don't have to make this big production of sound. Just put something 15 seconds, boom, together, what you got going on, who you are, boom, like that. All about grabbing the attention. All about you got 7 seconds. I say 7 seconds because when you're approaching somebody, right? And this is studies. I'm taking this somebody's study. 7 seconds. When I see you, I'm already judging who you are. I'm judging what you do. I'm judging how you talk. I'm judging. I'm creating, especially as a people watcher. And I pride myself as a professional people watcher. I think it's fun, like just to be creative and come up with these concepts of who someone is. But you're already breaking down who this person is. So you got to be quick and content and hit them right there on the head. You have some people that's going to stick and see what you're about. And then you have some people that's going to scroll within that 5 second.
Yeah.
So you got that, and especially today, everything scroll. Boom, 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 boom. So how do you catch somebody within that? I'm breaking down the time. Started with 15 seconds. Then I said 7. Then I said 5. 3 seconds. Because that's how quick our minds go. You know, you got people that's going to stay along for that 15 seconds. Then you got people that's going to stay along to see what's this about. Then, shoot, I mean, I see some, if the cover photo, and the cover photo is that picture that you select to really grab the attention. Yeah. If that ain't really rocking, I'm scrolling on through.
Okay, so that's even got to be.
So, but
gotta grab you.
Right, to grab you. So, but you talking about like building that audience, building a fan base. It's all about digital. I say just putting content, being consistent, put content out.
Yeah.
You know, as far as and I say Facebook and Instagram because those are like those are like the gold mines.
Right.
Because everything is visual. Yeah. Because you can track your audience. Because those platforms right there, Facebook, you can grab an older audience and a younger based on your demographics. But I love how the analytics, if you really like want to break it down, how you can really search and target your demographic, your target audience. 'Cause I think that is key to find out who your target is.
Yeah. Okay.
You know, what percentage, as far as your content can go to this type. That way you know how to pinpoint that crowd. Yeah. Right? So you got to be consistent, though. You got to have work out there. Don't sleep on it. Like, that's just...
Don't sleep on it.
No, don't sleep. Like,
you got to be active.
Yeah, you got to stay come with it.
You
like,
got to be in the mix.
Yeah, you got to be in the mix. And I know because I'm like the most antisocial person. I'm the most antisocial person. Yeah. It's crazy. Yeah. Like, I like to be social, but I'm like, you know what I'm saying? But I know... You gotta you have to be there. Yeah. You know, you have to be online because that's where if you want to grow. You know, you cannot be on there, but where do you want to take it? It's about where you want to take it. So so then that's when I asked Rome, where you want to take it?
Where I want to take it. I want it to be the biggest thing it could possibly be.
Okay.
I want it to be the biggest thing in the world. So.
Okay. So then that means you gotta
think like that.
You gotta gravitate to the world. Gravitating to the world just doesn't mean like, and that's why I really don't be so pressed to like, I gotta perform here in North Carolina. I gotta perform here in Charlotte. I gotta perform here in Winston. I'm more pressed on creating content that I could put online. Right. You know what I'm saying? Because you never know who could see you in China. Who can see you in, if you hashtag the right thing, boom, they'll see you in Nigeria. Boom, they'll see you in London. You know, they'll see you in Cali. I know I can go out on a Tuesday and perform somewhere, or I can go out on a Thursday and perform somewhere, and you never know who's in the crowd too. So it's still good to go out.
You know, that's real, because I remember I checked the hashtag for Poetically Correct, and it was some dude in Malaysia who had like a show. Word. And I didn't know Malaysia is actually, they speak English over there. Word. So they have like an English speaking spoken word scene. And I was like following us. I was like, bro, I'm bugging out. I'm watching him. He posting joints of freestyling and poetry and stuff. I was like, dang, I'm connected with Malaysia just off of the hashtag for Poetically Correct.
Nice.
So you're right about that. You could get the right hashtag. You can be connected with stuff you didn't know about.
You can be connected anywhere. Like sometimes I'll be putting, someone from Nigeria hit me up. That's why I said Nigeria. Someone from Nigeria hit me up. Yeah. And like they want to work on something.
For real?
Yeah, just off of like, because I typed in, what did I type in? I forgot. But I think it was like something based on that location.
Okay. And you pulled them up?
Yeah, but they saw
He pulled you up?
Yeah, they saw it. Up. You know what I'm saying? Like that's.
Shout out to Nigeria.
Yeah, shout out to everywhere. But I think that's just dope. Like typing in ATL spoken word. Yeah. ATL poet. And then you'll be surprised.
Yeah. That's what my group told me to do. Just pull up hashtags and just see what you see. Yeah. I'm start doing that, man. That's what's up.
But I feel so because I want to segue into something. Okay. But we want to do something new on the show. I want to put, like we were talking, like just pulling back the curtain. Yeah. Talking before the show, like having the show with more like content, tangible content. Yeah. Because I feel like that's what really gets people excited. I know when I go somewhere and I hear somebody give me some dope like gems. Yeah. You know, it's like, oh man, I gotta write that down. You know, I gotta write. It's good. It's one thing to go to a sermon and hear the message that you've always known and just be reminded. That's good sometimes to be reminded of information. Yeah. But then it's even better when you're presented with new information that you can take and be like, okay, I can fly with this.
Yeah.
You know, and that's why I guess, and that's what I want to do now with the show is provide information that people can say, you know what, boom, I can run with that.
Mm-hmm.
Not just us talking about art in the art scene, but just boom. So now we don't have any special sound effects right now, but soon it's gonna be live. It's gonna be all that good stuff. But hold on, you ready to do this?
I'm ready, bro.
You ready? All right. So Rome's gonna do something special called the Writer's Block.
The Writer's Block.
And it's gonna break it down as far as just creative ways as a writer.
Yeah. And
to flow and go.
The first instance of Writer's Block, like I just want to give like a PSA, like, cause like this is for everybody who's ever been to like a hip hop show and felt a way about the performances that they seen. I want to give a quick PSA for all my rappers out there, all the MCs, cause like I'm just speaking from my experience dealing with MCs and stuff like that for a number of years now. I just want to put this tidbit out there, man. If you're gonna do a show, when you perform, I promise you, especially if you're saying anything that's dope, it will sound better if you perform on the track without the words on it. If you're gonna perform with the track with the words on it, get a performance track from your engineer where it's just words on the hook, and maybe leave your ad-libs on the track, but take off the rest of the words, because when you're performing to anybody, especially somebody who is, if you're more into singing or any other type of art, like you're gonna see that performance, it's gonna look like karaoke, because you basically just open their mouth and your words, and it's not very engaging. But if your words are on point and you take those words off the track and people can hear it live, it adds a live element, and it's gonna be like, yo, you hear this guy? It's gonna be dope. But it's hard to be like, yo, you hear this guy when you just like, it's just the words on the track. It's like, you know, you could have just gave me a CD for that. Like, I'm not really getting anything from it. Unless you like super popping and famous, then it's like one other thing. But even still, it's like kind of a crutch when I see famous people perform with the words on the track.
It's almost, and I cut you off because I'm gonna let you finish, like Kanye.
I'm good. I'm done.
But no, it's kind of late. I'm not gonna say lazy in a sense, but I think you said crutch.
Yeah.
You're hanging on to the words, right?
Yeah.
So you have to really know your material.
Mm-hmm.
But see, that goes back to what I was saying back in like the 90s, early days, when you had performance where people just spitting, like just bars, just up there rapping the words.
Yeah.
And then the crowd would go into it with it too.
Right.
Now I think you have people, it's like a hype fest.
Yep. Yep. It is a hype fest. It's all about the turn up right now, and that's cool. The turn up is fun, but I'm just saying, like, if you're saying anything, if you're not saying nothing, you probably wouldn't want nobody to hear just your vocals. But if you're saying anything, like, get a joint with the instrumental, and if you're worried about, you know, how it's gonna sound, like I said, just get the hook vocal still on there. If you want to have your ad libs still on there, and if you want to have like your stacks. So, like, if you're rapping, you know what I mean, and if you're stacking every last word, every rhyming word, you can leave the stacks on there. But, you know what I'm saying, let people hear your organic vocals, too. Like, people don't want to just hear the track. Like, it's kind of not fun to be at those shows. You've been to those shows where you watching the rapper perform,
1,000%,
and you're ready for the rapper to be done because it's just not engaging.
It's not engaging because they're in their own. Is nothing wrong being in your own world? No, it is something wrong, because let me tell you the difference. As artists, yeah, it's dope to do stuff for ourselves. Yes, it's dope to be cool to be the best to ourselves. It's dope for that. But when you perform, I feel like it's not about you anymore. It's about the crowd. It's about giving that crowd that feeling. It's about giving that crowd a good show. It's about giving that crowd a message. It's about delivery. It's about flow. It's about entertainment. It's about making sure they feel good.
Yeah.
You know what? Making sure they feel whatever you felt when you wrote that.
Yeah, exactly. There you go.
You know what I'm saying?
That's the whole point.
That's the whole point. So if you felt like you were going through this, so it may not be a hype. It may be some pain.
Yeah.
You felt like you was going through some pain when you wrote that, make them feel that pain. If you felt like you was, oh man, today was the best day. Today was a good day.
Yeah.
You know, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Make them feel like that good moment.
Yeah.
If you felt like, you know, if you wanted to be sexy, you know what I'm saying,
Then
romantic, make that moment sexy.
Yeah.
It's about the crowd, because you're together in this.
Yeah.
They're here to see you, and you're, you
there
know,
to provide
support.
that. You know what I'm saying? That's why you're on stage. Like,
exactly.
the whole point of it is to transfer whatever made you create that art to them, so they feel that too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's the whole point. That's why artists hang their pictures in galleries for people to see. That's why singers get on stage and perform. That's the whole point of it, is to transfer whatever your impetus was to the crowd so they can experience that. For people who don't have the ability to do that, I can't sing, but daggone, when Jasmine Sullivan starts singing, I'll be feeling like I'm right there with it. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So she's expressing through her gift that I don't have something that I feel too. You know, that's the point.
Where that, you know what? All right, so rewind.
Yeah.
Have you ever? Because you used to rap.
Yes.
Did you ever perform with some tracks in the background, or?
So I used to either be with instrumentals, like I said, performance tracks with the words on the hook, or I would preferably have a band, so live instrumentation, even if it's just somebody with an acoustic guitar. Like, it's so much better because it's all created on the spot. It's nothing that you're just bringing in. Because you see the differences. Like, you see, like, there's a reason, like, a Michael Jackson or even a Chris Brown concert, it's just so much, it has so much more reach than just a rap show. Because a rap show is really just cats just, you know, up there. But what's engaging about Michael Jackson or Chris Brown or somebody like that on a level that a rapper is not, they have the choreography's on the spot. A lot of the singing is on the spot. You know what I mean? They might have a track too, but a lot of times they perform with bands and stuff like that too. All of that stuff being created right in front of you creates the vibe right in front of you, you know, versus here's the CD. You know, the least you can do, like I said, if you're going to just have the beat and do the vocals live. But like when you have the CD, so the beat and the vocals, none of that is live. You're just standing there. It's just like not as engaging. So I like to have live instrumentation as much as possible.
Yeah, and the other thing too is that connection. We just talked about connection, not to preach on that again, but when you talking and people can actually hear you, because sometimes, like you said, when you got that track in the background, it crowds over each other.
Yeah.
So when you talking to that person now, and that's the whole point about. That's why I say, write. You know what I'm saying? Whether you on a trap beat, whether you on a jazz instrumental, write something impactful. It doesn't have to be the most lyrical, but it at least has to make put a noun together, put a verb, an adjective, put all that sentence structure goes together. And I'm saying that because when you go perform, a bunch of hey, yeah, you know what I'm saying? No diss to that, but it's a connection that you want to have when you look at people. You know what I'm saying? When you talk to people, and maybe I'm thinking about the greats. I'm just thinking about the greats. So I always say, what do you want out of it? If you don't want to be one of the greats, then if you just want to be a hype person, then be a hype person.
That's true. It does depend on what you want out of it, and it's like I kind of go back to what you're saying about knowing your audience and who what's your crowd look like. Because like if you're trying to do the hey, but you in front of a crowd of people that's waiting for you to say something powerful or deep,
right? It's
not gonna connect. But if you performing in a club, that make a ton of sense. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But if you performing at a empowerment function or something, maybe unless it's done some creative way, maybe that's not the right.
Do you have a piece that you feel like is when I say, do you have a piece that you feel like you can perform and actually like be exciting, like not a hype piece, because it's funny with poetry, but I feel like we can still do that with poetry.
Yeah.
We can still do that because with dang, I forgot his name, but anyway, Jay Ward had a piece where he was talking about dancing.
Yep.
To me, I put that in the hype piece category because it's just the excitement behind it.
Yeah.
Do you feel like you have a piece like that?
I feel like I do. I feel like I got a few. You know what I mean? I got
talk
that.
Talk.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's yeah, for sure, man. It's all about having. That's what I like to do the most.
Really?
I like to just have stuff where it's just like, hey, like where I'm saying dope stuff. Like, so I feel like if you like bars, you'll get something from what I'm doing. You know what I mean? So yeah, I definitely feel like I got that. How about you?
Yeah, definitely. That's what I worked on this year. I worked on this year because I've been there in my soul. You know, you go through different phases and different moments where you write this type of style, where you write this type of this motivation, whether it's about love or romance or the situation we're in, you write that.
Right.
But this year I was like, okay, I really got to expand. Like I want to show people I can do those bars. I want to show people I can do those messages and uplifting. So finally, creative process can be like a roller coaster.
Yeah.
And that's the other thing too. We were talking about like behind the scenes too, like talking about how being signed to a label. sometimes, or working under a company, you have to create this for this. We have this project coming up, so you got to create this for this, or you got to perform here. So you never really get to. Sometimes you may not be in that mode. Sometimes you may not be in that creative mode. I think groups are like tough. You know, because a group may want to work on something and we may want to perform on something, but you may not be in that mood that the group wants to perform, or even work on like this. Let's say we want to. This would be the next piece that we want to work on. You may not even be that mood mentally.
That's true. That's facts, bro. Like I've been in a couple of groups, and that definitely happens where everybody's not even in the same creative space of what they want to do. You know what I mean? So you got to find, and that's why the best groups are the ones that don't have to. When they have the same similarities of what they like to do, and that's what makes them great, you know what I mean, or that's what they're best at, is it comes together in a dope way. When you have to sacrifice too much of what makes you who you are to make it work, that's where it gets like, it becomes uncomfortable to be in that group.
And speaking of uncomfortable, because I wanted to hit on this last time when we did. Now, being artists, we like to express ourselves.
True.
Sometimes we keep it raw.
Facts.
Sometimes we like to not filter, but we want to be particular on how we use certain words and content.
Yeah.
Now, do you feel like you have censored your work before? Have you censored yourself before?
Of course, man.
Okay.
Yeah.
Why?
Whether it's performing in front of the youth, the kids.
Okay. All right. That makes sense.
You know, churches is another one.
Okay.
So you feel like you got to watch it in front of white folks.
Okay.
I've felt it before, but I've actually. No, I'm sorry. I didn't censor nothing from white folks. I just didn't know how they were going to take it, but I still performed it.
Okay.
I performed exactly as is. And a lot of times reactions actually.
Were you like a little nervous beforehand?
I didn't know how it was going to go,
Okay.
you know, but then that's just worrying about what they think. And then so I just did it anyway. And you'd be surprised what you thought they would think is not what they thought. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So that's why you just got to do you.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I've done that. I would say for children and churches. So yeah. What about you?
Censoring. So this is what I will say. I'm starting to censor. Well, see, you know what's crazy? I never used to cuss when I wrote. I was like, nah, I'm not gonna cuss because I feel like, and I cuss all the time when I talk. Real talk. But I wanted to, like, when I wrote, I wanted just to be more. I felt like I could use other words, and then I felt like whoever read it, whenever I did, it could just go all platforms.
Yeah.
I kind of like forgot. It's like doing this show. Sometimes I made, bump that, whatever. But then, so somebody hit me one time. I was like, oh, you know what? I wanted to share your video, but you were cussing. I was like, You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I understand and I get that. You know what I'm saying? I'm
Yeah.
with that. So, in the sense of, I guess you are censoring yourself. I am censoring myself, but I'm being more selective on how I use words. And being a wordsmith, I feel like that should be no problem. You can say, you can switch and have fun with different words.
And by no means, like censoring content is not something I don't think I've done. I can't recall.
Okay.
So never censoring the content, but more so, like you said, the words.
Being selective with the words. Exactly.
Yeah.
And just, it's like if you buy an album, you got the edited version and the unedited version.
Yeah.
But when does it come to I guess, now for the youth, I understand, comes to a point. But is there ever a point where somebody can tell you, I need you to change how you said something?
I'm open to suggestions. I have the final say though.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Talk
So-
that talk. I had the final say.
It's one of those things where you don't want to be completely closed-minded to the idea that you could do something better, but at the same time you are the creative director of your piece, so you got to determine what's gonna end up being in it for sure.
Yeah. Do you So what would that be though? Like, what situation do you think can cause for someone to say, "Hey, Rome, we need to. You sound a little too aggressive right here."
I don't know if it falls into censorship, but I know
Okay.
something I've heard before is that I need to slow down sometimes.
Okay.
So just so everybody can catch everything.
Yeah.
And I found that to be, good advice. Because I listen back to myself, I'd be like, okay, I can see why somebody would say that.
Right. I see. Yeah.
And then I'm trying to think of another example. People who say like, the word nigga, like don't say that because this and that. I'll be like, I'm usually saying it.
Yeah.
I'm saying it with full understanding of the context that it's in. You know what I mean? I'm not just, You know, it's not.
Yeah,
just,
it's kind of.
but even if it is though, I know how I mean it.
It's all about intent, though.
Yeah.
I think that's where we get things screwed up nowadays.
Yeah.
At one point I was talking to somebody about us being too sensitive, right?
Yeah.
But no, you know what? We've lost what understanding, listening. We don't listen anymore because listening goes beyond just hearing words. It's about body language. It's about all that because it's about intent, where that person's coming from intent-wise on how they deliver a message.
Yeah.
If I say something about whatever, am I coming with a very malicious intent or am I really coming to say F you? You know what I'm saying? We got to really understand because I was thinking like, are we in sensitive times?
We're definitely in sensitive times. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Everybody's real sensitive about stuff. It's just everybody has, so much information out there, and you can see how everybody has a perspective on something. So it's like, whatever you say, if you say a certain type of thing, it could be, that's not right for this group, or that's not right for this group. You know what I mean? So you end up not really saying much because everything is going to fall into somebody's that's bad category. You know what I mean?
What's bad?
For example, because I know I think Dave Chappelle was talking about this, or Cat Williams. They're talking about how it's hard for comedians to be successful nowadays because everybody's offended by something. You know what I mean? So it could be like you have a line in your poem where you're talking about
that's homo.
Yeah, that
stop being gay.
It could be perceived as being homophobic, or even like you can say something that comes off as man bashing or woman bashing. Okay. You know what I mean? It's all about, because I remember it was a big deal when the Wonder Woman movie came out. People were commenting that they didn't like the fact that the dude, I don't know if you've seen the movie. I'm giving away spoilers. Do you care if I give away spoilers?
Man, give away spoilers.
It's a dude in the movie that basically finds her when she's discovering her powers and stuff like that, and they're working together. And they have like a romantic interest, and he ends up dying, and then he dies, and like Wonder Woman like powers up because she's so mad that he died. And people were saying, why does she have to find her power based off the death of a man or whatever? And it just kind of rubbed me the wrong way because I felt like it missed the whole point of love. And how many movies have there been with men where their whole purpose of being powerful or doing whatever is because of a
powerless,
woman,
or without the woman being powerless.
Taken 1, 2, and 3 was all about Liam Neeson getting his daughter.
I have not even seen Taken.
You know what I'm saying? Oh, word.
Yeah, but I know that he was in pursuit of his daughter.
Yeah, but it happens a lot.
Did she get kidnapped all 3 versions?
I think
that's wild. How did he say? Did he ever save her?
I think one of them, his wife, got kidnapped. Actually, I think both of them got kidnapped.
Word. So his whole family got took.
His family got took 3 times.
Did he save any of them?
He saved them
in number 3,
1 and 2. And then 3, I think his wife died.
He got kidnapped.
But he still saved his daughter.
That's wild.
So yeah, his family was getting took. That's crazy.
Yo, content today is interesting. You can build content around just we like a lot of shock value.
Mm-hmm. We do.
When it comes to movies, big explosions, boom. When it comes to music or poetry, using the big heavy words like on Erotic Night, if you talk about the P, you talk about the D, you know what I'm saying? But if you use creative words like, okay, all right, that's nice. We like a shock value.
It's the era we live in. It's the consumer culture, I feel like, man, because consumerism teaches you to react because you're consuming, which means you're taking it in, which means you have to react. You're not proactive, you're reactive. So what you're talking about is being proactive. You have to be proactive to choose different words to say things creatively. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But if you say something for a reaction, you just get straight to it. You know what I mean?
Are you looking for a reaction out of people?
When I say something that I put together that's creatively dope, and I know I'm about to give you these bars, I do kind of expect a reaction. Right. You know what I mean? It lets me know where the crowd is at. You know what I mean? But I don't say wild stuff to get a reaction. I say what I approve of for me, and I expect other people to either identify with the dopeness or not. But I know it's dope already. So I'm saying what I want to say, and I'm going to say, are you going to catch this gem that I just threw? You know what I mean? But I'm not doing it from the sense of like some cocky, like blah, blah, blah. It's more like, I like this line. I want to see if you like this line too.
Okay,
Does that make sense?
Yeah, but is that like a... you kind of look... Is that like a validation? Like you look?
No, not validation. Like I said, I already know it's dope.
Okay,
but like,
it's fire. Yeah. But do you recognize fire?
Do you recognize fire? Yeah. And like, because the whole point of the show is the give and take. Like, I give energy, you give back energy. Like every performer, as a performer, I'm sure when the crowd is engaged, it makes a world of difference. So like it shows me when you say something, like it shows where the crowd's level of engagement is at. Like for instance, I have a line where I reference like Mortal Kombat. That line typically goes better with male hip hop head kind of people because they get it. But if I do that line at an event where it's more like more women and it's like, you know, focus on a different type of style event, that line just is crickets. You know what I mean? But that's fine because I understand the audience I'm performing.
Right,
for,
you
know
understand,
what I mean?
yeah.
So just little stuff like that lets you know where the crowd is at. When you say something and you reference something, it lets you know if they get the reference too. You know what I mean? So I like that.
Yeah, references are tough, and that's why I think as a writer, you have to be really careful when using references. You know, like I know it's a million references you can make, but it comes to a point how you know what I realize now? Your work outlives you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like whatever you do is gonna outlive you. So is that reference? Well, how long would that reference live? Is that reference something that's abstract, or is that reference something that's concrete? Something far as it's going to continue to always be there, or it's just something there physically now for the moment?
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Because if it's just physically now for the moment, like let's say so you make a reference now saying it could be something about I don't know, it could be something about somebody playing on a certain team.
Yeah.
It'd be like I got that heat like Shaq.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, that would have been dope back in 06.
Yeah.
Now,
Right.
somebody younger wouldn't know what he like Shaq when he with the Lakers. You know,
Right. So how do you feel about because that goes into like time stamping? I know there's some artists that don't want to say the year in their song, but then other artists will be like,
I'm definitely on that. I don't like, but I don't like using heavy references like that. You know what I'm saying? As far as using people and things like that.
Yeah.
That are in the now.
Yeah.
If I do want to use a reference, I want to use it where it's so. If I do, it's something that I'm not really. It's kind of like a quick poetic session.
Right.
Something that I'm going to actually like hold dearly into my book.
Yeah.
Now, and even time stamping, because it has to make sense though.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna say never, but everything has to make sense.
Yeah.
Like if you do something, it has to like. I feel like you want it to live forever. Timeless content.
Yeah.
That's what my dad told me back like in the day when I was writing. He saw my writings back when I was talking about, oh, I'm gonna bust your jaw. I'm gonna do all this. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
What the hell are you talking about?
Right.
Like, make your work timeless. Make your work so when you 50 years old, you can look back and say, yeah, I was writing fire back then.
Yeah.
Check me out. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah.
Like, make your work where it's like, woo, when you 40, when you 35, whatever, you looking like, that was tough right there.
Yeah.
That's tough.
Yeah. Fair. That's the move, man. Like I want to look back and be like, no regrets. I killed that. Like that was hot. Blah, blah, blah.
Exactly.
You don't leave nothing on the table. So that's my attitude right now. I'm glad you said that. And it made me think, bro, because, like, you were talking about timeless or, like, your work outlives you. Think about, like, even we were talking about Kanye earlier, man. Like, he's from in a completely different place from when College Dropout came out. But you can still listen to that, and you can feel like, you know, you're getting something from that. So your work really does outlive you, literally. Like, in terms of when you change in life, your content is still what it was. So if you make great content, it's going to be great content forever.
Always and forever. That's why we listen back to those classics. We listen back to those old OJs, the Temptations, My Girl. You know, it's that Marvin Gaye. Why they the greats? Because you can listen to it now forever and be like, I'm jamming to that.
Yeah.
I can make love to that.
Yeah.
The cookout is going to have Frankie Beverly and Maze.
I can pick my kids up from school to that.
Yes.
Or I can holler at this girl to that.
Exactly. I could take some old Tender Petty Grass lines and body this.
Right.
You know, let me body this text message real quick. She ain't not even gonna know.
Yeah. Heck yeah, man.
Nah, man. Timeless content is dope because it lives forever. I mean, we said that, but I mean. So
shout out to Body in the text message though. Sometimes you just got body a text message, man. I'm about to send this mean dope text message, bro. I'm about to body this text message.
You know
hit all the right notes.
I mean, it's just body, just knowing the message, and the other thing too. So creating timeless content, right?
Yeah.
I think it comes in just understand the moment that you're in, but understanding where it could be.
Yeah.
Understand when I say where it could be, as far as where could this be if I'm 10 years later now, will I still get that same feeling? You know, will I still have that same perspective, that same view? You know, we always change our views. We always change our perspective. So I think it's good to just voice how you think right then.
Yeah.
But the feeling, though, I think the feeling is always going to matter.
Yeah.
And that feeling's what makes something timeless. I don't know.
That's real. And what you said about just being true to where you're at in that moment and just speaking on it. That's something bro. You help me out, bro. Cause I'm on this writing kick right now. So you help me out where my content gonna be. I'm just gonna write where I'm at. You know what I mean? Instead of trying to project.
Where you at? Where you at right now?
Where I'm at right now, man.
Yeah.
I'm all about.
I thought it was interesting to see what people are.
I'm about expressing myself and my thoughts for me instead of. Wait, let me think about where I'm at.
His thoughts for him, for himself,
and just. I don't know if I fully formulated where I'm at right now artistically. Okay. Like artistically, I don't know. I feel like I'm on the verge of wanting to create something specific, but I haven't put the pieces together yet.
But you don't know what specifically that
is. It is. I don't know what it is yet. I don't know what it looks. I got ideas though. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I got ideas.
Do you feel like you're in the same space that you were in January?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I feel like my space is changing on like a daily basis.
On a daily, goddamn.
Or at least weekly, man. Like it's so much, bro. Like it's just this year has been action packed for me. Like this is the most action packed year for me. This is crazy. I love it though, but it's just a lot.
Have you had time to really create?
I have not. I have not actively made time. The time hasn't made itself either, but I haven't. I'm at a point now where I have to make time. You gotta make time.
And see, that's what I'm saying. That can be so crazy. I'm looking at some of these. Wow, because I'm looking at musicians, artists now. It's really tough. Now we talk about hip hop, we talk about music, and we talk about how, oh man, I like it back when they was spitting like this. But at the same time, these guys really don't have that time. Yeah. I mean, of course, like we said, we talk about we make time. But when somebody says, hey, I'm paying you 50 grand to be over here tonight, then you getting paid 80 grand to be over here tomorrow night, and then next week, and then boom, after that, you chasing that bag to go perform. Yeah. Forget about trying to create something. And that can be, man, I'm just thinking back, like, that can be hectic. Yeah. Because you may really want to create something, but you always, you got to perform because that's where the money's at right now. Soon, because it's not like back in the day when people were really buying albums. It's all about streaming now. Yeah. And streaming gets tricky because you got to get so many listens. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? You really got to sell the merch and really get the shows. That's where the money's at. And soon, I'm looking, I'm reading, and if you know how to do it right, this whole streaming process is going to flip where the artist can really make some money. I think at first it starts with, I know I went on a tangent from what we was just talking about, but that's how my brain is crazy. Yeah. But at first I think it starts independently, building a platform people can subscribe to. But in order to build that platform people can subscribe to, you got to have content, hella content. And people have to really know that you bring in that content. Like I know somebody putting out a mixtape every month. If I was telling him, you putting out a mixtape every month, you need to build a subscription. It could be like $2. Yeah. People pay $2, subscribe. You know what I'm saying? A monthly subscription. Think about how many platforms, instead of you just putting out free content, you create your own independent warehouse. And when I say warehouse, I'm talking about just online platform. Yeah. And if they can believe in you to put out that people will pay. Yeah. People pay for what they believe in. Yeah. You know, but going back to wherever we just came from, we were talking about performing and people not having time to create. Yeah. That can be so hectic. I'm looking at that. I'm like, man, I would go crazy. Like it's fun to live that life. It's fun to, and I say it's fun because it's exciting. As an artist, that's thrilling to see thousands, hundreds of people see you perform on a nightly basis. But then also as a creator, it can be sometimes kind of frustrating if you don't have that time to sit back, because you may not be in the same mood. You may be performing something that you're not even in that same feeling anymore, that vibe. Yeah.
That's kind of where I'm at now with a lot of stuff.
Yeah, with a lot of, yeah. That's how I feel too.
Right. So it's about to be some crazy writing sessions that's going on, man. We're about to have some poetically correct writing sessions going on.
Yeah.
But yeah, man. How about you though? Like, where you at artistically?
Right now, I'm into telling stories. Okay. Not my story. Yeah. I'm really into creating these stories. Yeah. About other about other situations. Yeah. Right now, stories about Dang, it's a loud airplane. Dang, over the, but no, just stories about anything right now.
Yeah.
I'm into creating stories. Like I'm a creator, so everything that is going to be about my life, I like to see things from other perspectives. Sometimes I may listen to like a soundtrack or an album.
Yeah.
Specifically, I say soundtrack because that typically ties into a movie. And so I listen to it, and it gives me a feeling, the vibe, and it makes me want to create my own little movie in the sense of in a piece. So that's where I'm at right now.
That's dope, man.
Yeah, it's kind of fun because it's fun to talk about what you're going through. It's fun to talk about your experience, but I don't know. I like to step out the box. You got to put your foot out into the water, new waters. And
Absolutely, man. Yeah, absolutely. And that's conceptual. You know, that's conceptually dope is what you're talking about.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm excited to see what happened with that.
yeah, it's I'm debating. I gotta finish it, but y'all having oh not y'all, but next Sunday on November the 12th. That's when Queen City.
Yeah, the poetry battle.
Yeah, the poetry battle.
The battle
Poetry-
royale.
Battle Royale.
Yeah.
I don't know where it's gonna be.
Queen City
How am I
Collective
do it? How am I
versus-
do a plug and I don't even got the
Queen City Collective versus Respect the Mic Slams team battle royale November 12th at Camp North
yeah,
End.
you came with it
Yeah.
prepared. Hey.
Yeah, I know, bro. Off the
Better
top.
know. Yeah, so
I'll be hosting, just so y'all know.
oh word.
Yeah.
Oh, that's why you know all
I'm
that
in there.
information.
Are you in there too?
Sacrifice, yeah.
Oh, poetic leader, sacrificial poet.
So if I finish this piece like I want to,
Yeah,
then you'll hear one of the conceptual
Okay.
pieces. I gotta finish it like I want to though.
that's what's up. I
Yeah.
didn't even know. Dropping gems. I didn't know you was a sacrifice.
Oh, maybe I wasn't supposed to say that.
Nah, that's hey, bro. Now
Alright,
they know.
cool. Now they know.
Yeah.
But I mean talking about the whole creative process
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, I think that's where music and everything has gone astray. Because people just don't have time to create that. Because now it's easy to create that quick music,
Mm-hmm.
and it's nothing wrong with it because it sounds fresh. But like the whole island sound now,
Yeah.
that whole, you know what I'm saying? It's dope. It sound good. But as a writer, I know for myself as a writer, that joint easy to make.
Yeah.
Because if you say a few dope lines, especially somebody singing,
Yeah.
oh, come on now. Like, you just harmonize over a
Right.
few, then, you know what I'm saying? It's
And then you
easy just
got
to
it.
say, yeah, boom, you can body it in the beats, the beats already there.
Yeah.
Boom.
A lot of times these beats are already, like how we talked about the Cardi B joint, these beats are ready made and they're already dope.
Yeah.
It's like you just got a little ready made, you know.
You just got to go ahead and go into it.
Yeah.
That's what made Swiss Beats Swiss Beats the monster.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's what makes him so great. When he comes to you with a package, he comes to you with the beat and the hook.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, he comes to you. So what makes those joints so dope is you got the hook. He coming to you with the hook.
Yeah.
What's that Swiss beat? I got my drink and my two-step, my
Yeah.
drink. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That right there.
Yeah.
Or if it's Wild Out. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm going back some old joints.
Right,
But
yeah.
what's a new joint he had too? He had a new one, I feel like. But anyway, he had a song with T.I.
Swizzy. Bring them out.
Yeah,
That had the
Bring
hook
'Em
on
Out. Yeah, bring him out.
Yeah.
Yeah, he comes to you with these packages.
Yeah.
And I feel like, I think that's dope as a producer to do that. And as an artist, boom, you just got to lay a couple verses.
Yeah.
Sometimes just two verses.
It's a layup.
And it's a bridge. Yeah, it's a layup. Boom.
Mhm.
So shoot, man.
Dang. Now I want to go right.
Yeah. But I mean, do you have a specific? What do you have to have around you to write?
Man, so when I was producing my most content, I
Mm-hmm.
typically my writing process is just to turn on the PlayStation 3,
Mm.
throw on some headphones,
Okay.
and just freestyle while just playing games. And every time something dope hits me, just pause the game and write it down. I have since given away my PlayStation 3.
Oh,
So
man.
I might need to get back in the game. And I don't game no more, but I might need to get back for the creative process of it. Cause like
Yeah.
it's just easier. Like, cause then I'm just chilling. I'm laid back. I'm just doing my other thing. But then whenever something dope hits me, I just okay.
Just put it down,
I
go
put it
to
down.
it.
I
Yeah.
write it, and then eventually it could get to a point where I got so much built up where I just put the game down completely. I'm just focused on arranging everything and the dopeness that it is,
Yeah.
versus just focusing on it directly. That works for me too. It's just when I'm doing something else and it's like a distraction and I'm just writing like stream of consciousness, I feel like it comes together more easily. Whereas when I'm just focused on it, I just find myself wanting to do other things. You know what I mean?
And now, in those moments, do you find yourself creating about the subjects that you're around? Sometimes, like using those items.
What
That
you
you
mean?
like, if you're playing a game,
Yeah.
and you may think of a dope idea, but is it coming from that game that you may be playing or something, or it's just about anything?
It's about whatever. I usually already know the topic or whatever the vibe the beat gives me or wherever I'm at. It'll still come like that, but it'll just be like I'm not. It just happens more naturally. Like I can't explain it. Like I can separate because I'll just be freestyling or whatever. Yeah. That was dope.
And put it down.
Yeah. And then I'll just because like I used to do that anyway. Like when I was in college, you'd be in class. And you listen to the teacher and you're like, oh, that's a dope line.
What is it about class? It's something about class when you sitting there, you come up with some of the most fire lines. I'm talking about the metaphors out the world.
Right, yeah. Yeah, something about class, I don't know what it is. I actually lost my phone that had all my joints in it back then, so I was pissed, but I got it back going. So
okay. Class at work, it's something about those moments that you're just sitting there and you come up with some fire stuff.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Something about it. It's like, I don't know, man. Maybe it's like you're in class and you think about what you really want to do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you're in class.
Your mind is not gonna say idle, but it's free to lurk.
Yeah.
Like you think it's like you focused on what you need to be focused on. I don't know. I think activity helps build creativity.
I would say, yeah, for sure. Experience, for sure. Activity, being involved in something is definitely
being involved. Like when you're not involved, I feel like when I'm most involved in something, going through something, whether it's driving, just being active.
Yeah,
that's when you come up with like your mind is being creative.
Yeah,
because I guess you're in that process. You're in the physical process of being creative.
Yeah,
because even in class, whether it's a math class or something, your mind has to think about that. So sometimes your mind may be on that, or sometimes your mind's not. But you're in that setting, you're in that surrounding, so you're in a surrounding where you're meant to be creative.
Wow, yeah.
So your mind may not be focused on the math problem, but your mind's focused on the creativity.
Your mind is engaged.
Yes, engaged. Yeah. If you're just sitting around, sometimes you can still write some dope stuff, but I feel like
sometimes it's hard to get going though.
Yeah,
like you know how sometimes you want to get into it and it's just like
you
don't feel it, but then like if you force it for long enough, you can kind of get into it.
Yeah.
But like you said, in those other settings, it's almost like it just comes to you because your brain is already engaged.
It's already engaged with it. Yeah,
that's what's up. That's true. Stimulus. It's like a stimulus. It's like a stimulus package. It's just like.
And that's one of the things too about doing the whole thing with the writer's block, which you present that, because sometimes we get locked into these writing block situations where we just don't know what the hell to write about. We just don't know what to talk about. Period. And I think that comes with forced content too.
Okay.
Sometimes we force things.
Yeah.
You know, like write about this, like create this right here, instead of just letting it flow.
Right. So what is your process then, usually when you write?
It's wherever I'm at, wherever I'm feeling. If I'm feeling a beat or if I'm feeling a subject or a topic, it's whatever that process about, then it's about whatever, honestly.
Yeah.
It's whatever.
Okay.
It's not about me trying to. Sometimes I know. I was thinking about this today. Like sometimes I know I'm gonna talk about a topic, but I don't try to go in. I don't know what I'm gonna talk about. Honestly,
Okay.
I just when I see the canvas, or boom, I let it paint. I feel like that's when I'm my best. Just let it roll.
Yeah.
It could be, because then it's organic. Now, not to say if I go into a topic I already know, but then I'm thinking too much about it. Like we have a performance this week. Shout out to Word Society.
Yeah.
This week, are you performing Word Society at the
I don't
this week?
I don't know.
You don't know. Boom, we're gonna get back to that. Don't answer that. But no, so we got a show this week, and it's about friends, right?
Yep.
Man, this joint was taking me
forever.
Not forever. It's just like I was dreading it because I had to create something that I really didn't want to. Like I'm really not in that vibe to talk about.
Man, what? I know exactly what you mean.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like creating that, I could create like creating I had so many concepts. I can go with this. I'll go with that. I want to stand out. You know, so I want something. Then I gotta hurry up and memorize it. So I want to be too wordy. Damn, I may have to read this joint. Like I'm still not even finished with it. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna have to read it, unfortunately. But
it'd be like that sometimes.
Yeah, I think that, but it's just one of those things where it's just sometimes when you're in a position where you have to, okay, the topic is given to you, boom, write about this. Now I have no problem with that, but sometimes you may not be in that vibe or that space.
Right. So you kind of actually are having a poetry reading this week, of all things. How did that end up happening?
That was smooth. 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 I am having a poetry reading. It's gonna be a ambiance special event center.
Let's go.
Wednesday in the Word Society family. LEB, Hassan, LB, Cozy A, Bliss, Witness.
Yeah.
Somebody else supposed to be there too.
Freaking everybody, bro.
Yeah.
The crew is dope, man. Y'all need to.
Yeah,
stay
follow
in tune
Word
with them.
Society. Yeah, but I mean, so and it's what else? Something happened this week. I really wanted to hit on though. Oh no, we were talking about vulnerability earlier,
Yeah.
and you know the whole situation like with Tyrese.
Yeah.
And with him, everybody want to clown on him, crying on social media and things of that nature. But this is why, and so I'm tying this into like us creating our content. What do you? Because you obviously you're getting to a point where you really want to talk about some situations in life. Do you feel like there's a line that you don't cross with giving people information about as an artist, or is it just as a person putting information out?
Yeah. I'm not super up to speed on the whole thing with Tyrese.
Well, it
but
don't have to be about him, but I'm just saying.
if you're putting yourself in a position where you're like ranting or crying like that, like on social media and stuff like that, you've already crossed that line. Like
Really?
some stuff is private conversations and stuff like that, because people are going to clown you on that because they're not going to identify with where you're at and your whatever the issue is. You know what I'm saying? People are just going about their day. You know what I'm saying? You just got done hooping. Hey, bro, you know what I'm saying? That's crazy. Oh, what Tyrese crying, bro? That's crazy. You know what I'm saying? They're not going to be there with you. So it's kind of a wasted thing to do, to put it on. And you know what I'm saying? Sometimes it's like you feel like people put stuff on social media. It's like, why did you? If that's how you felt, why did you think to like pick up your phone, record, and post that? Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's like a, you know what I mean? So that's where our society is at, where people feel like they got to post these moments and stuff like that. So I feel like the stuff you share, I remember Drake was like, back in from years ago, he was talking about how like when he's going through something or when something he wants to talk about, like going around on, he consciously makes a decision not to tweet or post about it. He saves it for his music. You know what I'm saying? That's why his music has so much of that in it, because when he's having those moments, he specifically notes it and saves it for his music. He doesn't just post it out because that's good content. He sees that as good content for his songs. You know what I mean? Yeah. So that's an interesting way to look at it too. If your music and your brand and what you're about is all about talking about your drama in your life and stuff like that, save that for your music. So I think it goes back to what your purpose is. Like where you draw the line is going to be dependent on what your intent is. If you feel like your brand is what you're going through, then you save that for the art. But if you feel like your brand is, that's actually interesting though, because I feel like if you ask me, if my brand was anything other than what I'm going through, I feel like it's almost kind of fake. You know what I mean? Because it's like, it's real interesting. It depends on your perspective, because it's like you could say, I'm going through this, but I'm not going to talk about this. I'm just going to talk about this. In that instance, is it fake or is it?
But in a sense, though, you're putting on the front first off.
Yeah.
But you don't have to talk about everything, I guess. However, I will say, when you save it, to me, it's tough to save it sometimes, I guess, unless you write it right then. You write about it right then. Yeah. But it's harder just to save it because I may not even want to deal with those emotions later. I may not feel the same.
Yeah.
And so, like, as a creator, I never really... It's interesting because I've never really created content off emotions that I was in that moment. I think one time, but other than that, I've never really created content off of heavy emotions I was in at that time, just because I want to really let it sink in and see, am I really that? I want to think about it quicker. I want to think about it more broadly and really be more particular about how I should feel about this situation, rather than just being one hot take and be like, boom, boom, boom. You know, really step back and then later, okay, look at the situation. Like, okay, I see how it is now.
Yeah. Okay.
So,
do you feel like it's kind of it seems like it's a gender thing? Do you feel like women are more likely to like make their content based off of whatever the actual emotion is, and guys are more likely to figure out, okay, how should I feel about this?
Hell no. I mean, and I say no because I think it goes both. It's a both-way street.
You think so?
Yeah, because you got guys talking about. I mean, Drake, you speaking of Drake, he had a song saying "F that guy that you with." You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? Marvin's Room. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like it goes both. It's a both-way street. Women are going to write about some situations they were in. Men are gonna write about some situations they were in. It may not. I think it goes both ways. I think it's just based on the person. If you a person that's going to be truthful about your work, and you gonna come out and talk about your side and where you position that you at, or you gonna talk about the other person's side, how you feel for them, and are you just shooting shots? Are you this? This is a diss track, you know. I think it depends on the person. Like, I know when I've written about somebody, and it's not been about one particular person. It was like multiple people in that one piece.
Yeah.
It was like, I just wrote a piece about somebody, but it was like a situation. See, I'm not gonna write about that person per se. I'm gonna write about the situation. You see what I'm saying? Because that situation can last forever. That person ain't gonna last forever. So, but situations sometimes fade on to different people. But you know what I'm saying? Like, if I write about that situation, I can think about them like, wow, that I can relate to that more. Even when I'm with somebody else, or even if I'm in a different situation, I can relate to it more because it gets something that can last over rather than me talking about that person line for line.
Word. Okay.
It goes both ways, man. People have to vent. People have to tell somebody what they're going through. People have to let it out. So they, whether it's through the art or whether it's through social media. Social media is like a diary, so people feel like we got to go talk about it from there. Sometimes, but it's tricky too because sometimes you may not be talking about it just to vent. Sometimes you sending subliminal messages, so it's about intent, like you just said. Sometimes you're trying to get somebody's attention. Sometimes you're trying to build. Sometimes you're trying to, as an artist too. Sometimes you're trying to take your fans through a story.
Yeah.
Are you doing it for purposes where you're just trying to? It could be several different stories. You could be trying to take them through an experience of what's going on in your life right now. You're trying to keep them so involved. You're trying to keep your fans so involved about what you're going through. So you create this, not create a story, but you pull back the curtains. Yeah. They see everything. They know about your relationship. They know about everything going on. So then they kind of like riding with you.
Yeah. That's real. But like, see, because I'm thinking like there's other, for instance, like erotic poets. You know what I'm saying? Erotic poets, you don't really get their story of who they are or any of that. You get one
fantasy.
You get one specific thing. You know what I mean? So do you feel like that is still, because that's what it is, do you feel like that's still like cool, or do you feel like, come on, like what else? Like what else you know what I mean? Like,
for me, it depends where we at. If you give me a whole album of nothing but you telling me how you going to lick her up and down, how you know what I'm saying? Like, if you give me nothing but that, then like, I'm not gonna be too attracted. That's me. I'm not gonna be too attracted to it. But I feel like when it comes to greatness, being able to just pull back the curtains, tell a story, walk us through some emotions that you were in. Like, okay, like I got a poem called Lover's Dream. Like, just talking about me admiring a woman and me just talking about her, uplifting her. Now, if I just did that all the time, people are like, okay, that's nice, that's sweet, nice. But then when I do Backpass, it's a poem called Backpass, I'm talking about how I thought that love was going to be forever, but it's not, and going through different situations, talking about how, you got to really be on your toes because you can get hurt in certain situations. Then it's like, okay, it's not all peaches and cream.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because that's life.
Right.
We human. Everything ain't always sunny.
No.
Today is not sunny, it's cloudy.
Right.
Every day in your life is not going to be sunny. But it's cool. How do you get through it, though? I think that's what we want to know. And sometimes as people, what makes a great artist is how do we get through the sunny days?
Yeah.
Through the pain.
Yeah.
Because I think it creates a nice character when you're talking about the fantasy. The fantasy is nice, but soon when you got to come back down to reality. The turn up is nice. You know what I'm saying? Like when I look at artists like Future, I look at these, you know what I'm saying? Like even like on some sense with Cardi B, it's gonna be interesting to see with her because I feel like she really is in a lane of being that hype, just rapper artist, being that hype artist. But soon, I guess it comes to a point when you really want to. How many hype when you go to? Because I look at it when you go to perform.
Yeah.
How many hype tracks can you? And you can do a whole show of hype.
Yeah.
I guess, but it creates a more balanced feeling and connection when you could take somebody through the lows and then the highs, and then when you got the prize.
Absolutely.
So Yeah.
Dang, that's lit. So we want to give people a full journey.
Yeah, give them a journey. Walk them
Give 'em
through.
a journey, man.
Take them through.
Give them a journey with your art. You know what I'm saying?
Give them a journey with your arts. That should be the title of the show. Give them a journey with your arts.
There it is.
Does that sound fly?
The journey.
The journey?
Yeah.
Does the journey sound that's pretty dope?
Yeah, the artistic journey.
The artistic journey.
I think that's it.
Sure, it's not too many words. You think about it too long. Okay, we're rolling with the journey.
Yeah.
Anything else left to say, left to be done, left to be heard, left to be felt?
Subscribe to the channel. You know what I'm saying?
Subscribe.
Politically correct. Stay in tune with what this guy is doing because he's doing a lot of dope stuff right now. Follow me at Rome DiCarlo on all social media at romeshouse.com.
Yeah.
Holler at the website. We out.
And I'm at Poetically, Poeticlee. The name goes together. It's a play on words.
Yes, sir.
Poetically.
Yes, sir.
Poetically correct. We out.
Thank God in heaven, you know I love you.